And now back to Matthew Hatfield and that evil basketball coach. Blast you, Ed Young!
And we welcome you back to the special edition. It's not Saturday mornings with Hatfield and Young at the Plex. It's rather these two bozos doing the Manning cast, our version of it, with Notre Dame, Ed's school, that he roots for, trailing Miami 14-7. We now have a special guest with us, though. He is the owner and founder of Vicktory Life. You can follow him on the Twitter or the X. I'm sure he's on Facebook. He's on IG as well. Vic757 on the X or the Twitter, as some still call it. My co-host Dwight is not on X or Twitter yet, but he just got on Instagram. So look out, ladies and gents. But we have Dwight Vick with us, the former Hampton Crabber and Virginia Tech Hokie. I'd ask how you're doing. I know you're not great with what happened earlier today with your alma mater, but we did show that highlight of your nephew balling out for the Bethel Bruins, though.
Yeah, man. I'm very happy about that. Still a lot of season left. I'm happy for Derek. He had a great season last year, but he's stronger, more confident, and he's poised for a great year. By the way, you mentioned I'm not happy. I kind of knew South Carolina was going to pull it out. I was hoping my Hokies could get it done, but they're ranked 13. I think Virginia Tech, if you're a Tech fan, you feel good about the coordinators they hired. They had a chance. I think they had Shane and those guys sweating a little bit going into the second half, late third quarter. Tech had several missed opportunities. So I tweeted earlier, I am on X. I tweeted earlier that, look for the overreaction with week one. Look for overreaction with everybody, whether you're a Maury fan or a Bethel fan, Oscar Smith, or Wahoo, or you're whatever, Patriot. Look for the overreaction because nobody overreacts more than fans, whether they win or lose in week one. That's just the nature of the beast. Like, that's what happens. Everybody's like, we got to bench this guy. We got to fire this guy. This team's going to win the district. And it's week one. I remember when I was a youngin', Coach Ed, you appreciate this. When I was a youngin', I used to be a diehard Redskin fan. And I remember when Gibbs retired and Richie Pettibone took over. And his first win, I believe, was either over the Cowboys or was somebody, but they won 37-16. And everybody was like, the show goes on. The Redskins are going to repeat. And they might have won 3 more games that year. So, and by the way, congrats, Coach, on getting back into coaching. You never stop, but congratulations. It's good to see you back. I'm happy about that.
Wait. You're happy now and you'll root for him, Dwight, except when he plays your Hampton Crabbers potentially in a Region 4A playoff game, because then you got to rock with your Crabbers and your boy Eric Brown and company to knock his socks off and blast him. You will. Be honest now. Be honest.
Yes, absolutely. Listen, let me tell you something. I know I confuse some people because they see me posting all these Bethel High School stuff, and I show Phoebus love because I'm in the media, which like you guys, but I'm a Crabber until God takes my last breath. So,
what is it? Crabber bread? What is the slogan?
Crabber pride. Crabber pride.
Yeah.
Yeah. And no, but Smithfield, man, they got a great program. I think I saw them play. I was down there a few years ago when Patriot played them in like a showcase game, like the girls played, and I saw Smithfield played, and it's a good school. Mom used to teach there back in the day. So it's a good program, good sports program, good location, man. It'll be good.
Well, I'm hoping, Dwight, first of all, if I'm lucky enough to play Hampton in the regionals, I feel I did something. I think he has the team this year in the region for basketball. I know we're just starting football, but looking ahead, I think they're going to be number 1 in 4A in this area. Smithfield lost a whole lot. I'm getting late. I haven't even met player 1 yet. I got to hire a whole new staff. But like I told the interview committee, I ain't taking this job to go 500. I don't know when, but it's going to happen. I'm not a good loser. So those kids are going to have to rally around. I think we'll play a good brand of basketball that people will like to see. And I'm just trying to recreate some things from the past where I've been before. But Dwight, sitting out last year, I didn't mind retiring as a teacher, but I did not retire from coaching. They took it from me. That didn't set well with me at all. And I didn't go out the way I wanted to. And I wasn't sure I was ready to go out, period. And some things didn't manifest themselves on some other job situations that I kind of messed with. And my agent Hatfield over here was mad already on one or two that I did not pursue or take. But I used the year wisely. I went out and watched a ton of games, broadcast with Matt and some other people.
So why he went to more games than you and I did, and that's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
I just really watched everything. I didn't have to worry about X and O's because I didn't have a team to coach. So I watched everything. When I say everything, you name it. I watched players, how they walk off the floor, run off the floor, how the huddle was in timeouts. Why did he call timeout? What would I have done? How do I counteract that? Referees, where are they making their calls from? What officials I don't ever want to see in the game that when I come back. I just wanted to kind of psych myself so I knew I was coming back somewhere. I didn't know where. And I want to be ready because I'm going into this with like a rookie coach. First time ever. I'm excited, but I have experience behind me. And now can I motivate a whole new bunch, a whole new community, coach a staff as well as the players while we're doing all this. And I'm excited about it. I'm excited.
I'm happy you're excited. I'm happy you're back for the players and for the culture. I will say this, and I know you and Matt are close, and Matt probably has the same perspective I have. You as well, Coach, is that, it's not so much like you've been away from the game, but, the movement now, the high school transfer portal, you probably guys in the 757, it probably doesn't impact you guys like it does here in Northern Virginia, D.C., and Maryland. I mean, schools like Hayfield, Patriot, Potomac, the private school sector up here in Northern Virginia, D.C., and Maryland is insane. Like, down there, you guys got Norfolk Collegiate, Norfolk Christian, Peninsula Catholic. I'm from there. It's my home. I tell people up here, we don't have that problem back home. Like, you might leave to go to an IMG, but that's a really elite kid. But you pretty much may transfer within the high schools. Up here, it is insane, the movement. And the parents, I hate to get on my soapbox on such a great week in the college football, man, but the parents, man, it's so funny because I've been blessed to have a dad who has a PhD, and my mom and him been married 54 years. My mom, graduate of Hampton University. My dad, a graduate of Norfolk State. I know we're going to talk about NSU here shortly.
We are, yeah.
I'm an HBCU.
By the way, real quickly, if it's okay with you, one of our guests has not gotten back to us in the third quarter, so we might keep a possession two in the third if you're okay with that.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, okay. And I didn't know I was a great player until like my junior, senior year. Like I remember I was ranked 4th in the nation on the Sporting News magazine. Some of my teammates, they were at Coliseum Mall and they brought it to the locker room, and I went and bought a couple copies. But Coach Mike Smith, I played for Coach Mike Smith and Coach Frank Beamer, 2 Hall of Fame coaches, and I played for Coach Brower because I played basketball 3 out of my 4 years. So I played for 3 Hall of Fame coaches, and I worked hard. I wanted to get a scholarship, but I wanted to win. And nobody in my neighborhood in the 757, nobody in the Vick household told me I was great. Even when I look at my cousin Mike, and Marcus, like, we knew we were good, but like there was a sense of understanding, like, you just play for your team, you get better, you work hard. Now, man, like, kids are announcing in 8th grade they're transferring or they're going to this school or they're ranked. And I like rankings, like when I did a live about a month ago. I like rankings when you guys do it or other people that actually watch games and don't have a bias. Now we got.
You mean you don't like the ones that steal photos from us that did a little graphic?
No,
you don't like those people. Okay.
No, I don't.
I was wondering. I didn't want to say what that is.
I don't because first of all, I feel like if you're going to really cover it. If you're going to cover it, go sit in the gym for 6 hours. Like, I'm from the era where the David Tills covered me. So I was covered by Hall of Fame journalists. So like, to me, I'm used to people like really knowing, not kind of getting sensationalism where they just post stuff and they just trying to get clicks. And I don't know, man, the sad part is when I mention the parents, they take the bait. They take the bait. That's a crazy question right there.
Yeah, one of our cover sports TV people put up, who was the toughest player you faced one-on-one in college and high school? Oh, boy, that's going to – we'll get you in hot water. You ain't got to play them anymore, Dwight, so you can answer it.
Hey, yo, geez. So I should take the safe answer, say Allen Iverson, Anthony Poindexter, Ed Reed, Ray Lewis.
Right.
As far as one-on-one blocking, I got to say it's the set of people on college. I'll start with college. Cornell Brown, Corey Moore, J.C. Price, from my teammates. Those guys were just insane. Like, it was – and there's three of the best defensive linemen in Virginia Tech history. And I was there for the 99 team because I was there in 98 and I was there in 95. So you're talking about two of the best defenses in Tech history. High school, I went against David Turner, who was the Norcom high school great, but he didn't really match up with me one-on-one. So high school, it really wasn't, and I'm not even trying to be funny. I may have given up one sack in my 4 years in high school. I take it back. For like 2 plays, I was a sophomore and he was a senior. I had the distinct privilege of trying to block Brandon Noble at First Colonial. And he took me for a ride to the concession stand.
I hope my guy Jimbo out there, Jim Timmons out there is watching. He's an FC grad. He loves to brag about how good Brandon Noble was.
Brandon Noble is not talked about enough. Had a good career with the Redskins, Washington Commanders now. But I was a sophomore. He was a senior. And I started as a sophomore on varsity. I was on varsity as a freshman. And he came on my side, and he just took me. He was nice about it. He just took me and drove me. And then after that, he did like this and smiled with the Jordan pose. And I was like, oh, my God. But, man, honestly, that's a great question because I feel like I played in the Tidewater, Hampton Roads there during the golden era. So, like, from a competitive standpoint, man, you talking about, geez, I wish they did a documentary on this for that time frame. Aaron Brooks, Allen Iverson, played against Poindexter at UVA and in the All-Star game back when they had the VHS All-Star games. Played with guys like Myron Newsom, played with Sean Hamlet. I mean, I can go on and on, man, because back then the Peninsula District was a gauntlet where, like, Kickertan had Morocco Brown, Chip Laws, the Roberts brothers. You had the coaches, Kozlowski, Tommy Riemann, the guy over at Denby, I forgot his name, and you had Warwick. And, Warwick had Antonio Banks, who I played against. And I can go on and on, like Bethel. People talk about Allen Iverson's 92 state championship like it was just him. Mm-hmm. That team featured guys like Jonathan Dean, who went on to JMU, who had a great career. They were loaded and really physical up front. It wasn't just a situation where Iverson was throwing the ball to himself. I just feel like that Peninsula District golden era, I know it's a new time, a new era now, but I just went against some monsters. And I mean, people were just like insanely talented. That's probably one thing I hate about today's game is like, you have to wait sometimes for that premier matchup where back then I remember rushing home after stopping by McDonald's. We didn't have much money. I go home and watch Bruce Radar do Friday Night Lights. Yeah. And he was like, let me take you across the water. And the helicopter would go there. And I'm like, oh, my God, I felt like I was part of something so much bigger than myself. And then I told this to Matt because, Matt's my guy. I remember being in high school, 13:10 a.m., me and my dad, he picking me up from practice. And I'm listening to Tony Mercurio take calls. And guys are calling in talking trash from across the water to the peninsula. So I know I didn't fully answer that question because I'm telling you, and you guys know from being around this great game, we cover football and basketball. I played against so many great people. And I could keep going for another hour. Like the players, I mean, when I look back, even my son, who's a freshman at Wingate, and he's like, you played against him? I'm like, yeah, man. Like Phoebus, Tory Edge, Antoine Womack when he was a youngin'. Maurice, I can't remember my guy's name, man. TJ Carrington. There was so many guys, man, like, and Bill D and Stan Sexton. Like, yes. I really feel like I interviewed Stan Sexton about 2 months ago, and me and him, after I was done recording, we just talked about the names And I said, Coach, do you really feel like that was a golden era? He was like, yes, absolutely. Because of how, like, he's like, Bill D, God rest his soul, and Mike Smith were never friends, but they respected each other. And it was a great time, man.
We just had on Hank Slater earlier on this, Dwight. You bring up so many great things about there's levels to this. And I put this on my hits on my tweet the other night about there's levels to this, and people upset about the Commonwealth teams getting beat out of state. But Bill D had to bang his head against the Mike Smith Hampton wall for years and years. And even Kozlowski and Bethel finally got it to a level. For years, Hank Slater didn't beat Phoebus or Hampton. Finally broke through and did that. Rich Morgan did the same thing at Oscar Smith. There's levels to this where guys have to. Doree McCain at Maury, he didn't beat Hank Sawyer right away. It took him a couple years to do it. Yeah. And then now he's got, if not, them and Phoebus are viewed as kind of the flagship, along with your good pal and former college teammate and Lauren Johnson at Highland Springs. And you brought up Tony Mercurial. Rest in peace to him as well. He was the one that got Ed his start in radio and mine as well. And I remember going to his road shows as a kid with all these books. Who's this kid over here, Al? We're here at Pembroke Mall right there. The scenery's nice out here, ladies and gents. I can do Tony's voice now. He's not with us anymore. You can't get after me and say, "What are you doing, young buck? Young whippersnapper?" So get on me.
Yo.
You're right. It's just listen. I used to love doing. People know this. Mashed potatoes and gravy. I did my Tony voice all the time. The thing is the third quarter is about to get underway here with Miami leading Notre Dame 14-7. I told us to one of the Phoebus assistants, I think, on Facebook recently that I think the PD's up this year.
It is.
With Derek Fisher and Amari Pryor at Bethel, what David Porter's doing, and Warwick's been getting better over the recent years. It's up. But even if it's up, then what Phoebus is doing has been, astonishing, continuing on after Bill D into Stan Sexton and now Jeremy Blunt. It still ain't going to ever touch what it was in your era in the 90s, which was the golden era. But I want to get you to touch on, because Ed's going to get disgruntled here if Miami starts to really extend themselves up here. But the game today with Tech for a moment. And by the way, how good was Fred Johnson, JR for South Carolina? 10 tackles. He was, I thought, the best player on the field for much of that game, Dwight. But
he's an animal.
And he could be a Sunday guy. I felt for the longest, you were right there in that game. The field goal, 56 yards before the break. I know Heath had to drop. But you outgained him for 3 quarters. That punt return was big, though. The Victory Swain punt return. And it feels like since Beamer and Foster left, you tell me if I'm wrong here, that's the one area. And Ed always talks about when we do previews of big games, state playoff games, special teams. You all had, with the lunch pail era, but an identity of blocking kicks and special teams. It always feels like, I look at the numbers and some things, I'm like, you're close, but you don't have that special teams killer. Is that a fair way that's going to separate you from winning those big games?
I think it's more so what you're describing as a mentality. So, I said in my group chat, and even at where I'm at right now, I said, when Shane made them re-kick it, I said, that's a chess move. And that was a great move, because the Virginia Tech punt team has 3 linemen. They were the blockers right before the kicker, and they had to run back down there. And one thing the SEC, the ACC has it too, but the SEC has more of it, and that's speed and athleticism. And when he got it, it was a straight line kick, which is the worst, in the middle of the field after they just ran down there. And basically, that was, to me, the ball game. Tech was still in it because, they had the opportunities. But I feel like other than the kicking game, when they got a great kicker there, he made some 50-yarders, including one today, a 59-yarder. Virginia Tech has not really carried on with special teams. There's been games even going back to last year when they blocked the kick against Clemson to go up 7-0, but they don't really do much with it. There's not the same mindset. And I think looking at today's game, I would love to talk to Shane later on in the season and get his thoughts on it, but I feel like Shane is happy he won, but he's probably more relieved because South Carolina was on the ropes. South Carolina gave Virginia Tech 3 quarters to take over the game. After that opening drive, South Carolina did nothing. Virginia Tech kept getting in the red zone, driving, turnover, a penalty, a illegal chop block, or, it was just like you keep drop passes on 3rd and 5 against a team, whether you believe they're the 13th ranked team in the country or not, against a team of that caliber, you cannot squander opportunities, and that's the difference. Big games are always won in the trenches, but more importantly, it's the adjustment game, the 3rd and 4th quarters, because in the first couple of weeks of the season, even if people have returning starters, everybody's still trying to figure it out. And then that's why I said when I previewed the game, when people had me on different platforms, I said, expect a slugfest, expect teams kind of a messy, ugly game. And then eventually whoever blinks first is going to lose the game. And the team that, can counter that will win. And South Carolina did that. And I feel like, Shane is 4-1 now in openers, and Virginia Tech is now 1-3. Now, the good news is you got a lot of good games left on your schedule. South Carolina, they're in the SEC, so we know what kind of gauntlet that is. Meanwhile, while Miami's playing Notre Dame, Miami's good, but I don't feel like other than, Clemson and Miami, the ACC is wide open. So Virginia Tech, this is an important year for them. There's murmurs about hot seats on Coach Pry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that. I will say right now, I think this is a critical season for him. He's recruiting well. I saw the Virginia Pilot said that Tech has 4 commits out of the top 10, which is hard because in the 757, it's no longer the best kept secret like during my era. So you're not just going to get players like during the Beamer era. People like Ohio State and Alabama are coming down here. But he's recruited well. He's put an emphasis on the 757, the 804, and Nova. He's got some young talent. The portal's been beneficial. You look at guys like Tootin and everybody, even going back to Khalil Herbert. You're doing well with that, but you got to pull it all together. And the hard part about this, and Ed, you can appreciate this being a great coach that you are, when you announced that you were coming back, everybody immediately went back to you as a great coach. And when you're a great coach or a great program, like Miami and Notre Dame, I was a Notre Dame fan in the 80s as a kid. I'm talking about I had the jacket. I would walk around, Tony Rice, the Rocket. But you know what's funny? Even though they've done very well, they got a great coach, people that have been following that program will always hold them to the standard of what they used to be, even though they're doing very well right now going to the playoffs. And what I mean is Virginia Tech and certain programs are sometimes a prisoner of the expectations they created. And it's tough because right now, if you're Virginia Tech, your goal is to get 8 or more wins. Yeah. It used to be when we played these Labor Day Chick-fil-A kickoffs, it was like, okay, here's Bama, here's Virginia Tech. Here are 2 teams that could play for a national championship. We're not even close to that right now. We're trying to get to a better bowl game and maybe back into an ACC championship game. I look at Miami. Before I jumped on you, I'm at my friend's house. And they were like, hey, what was the best game to play in? Like, what were your favorite games? Immediately, me and my guy, Sharon Stith, Western Branch great. He's here with me. Sharon's here with me. We were talking about different games, and we both agreed anytime we played Miami, right? Because Miami is the U. So
swagger, man. It's all swagger.
Yeah, but if you're being honest, and I talk to diehard Canes fans, they have never won the ACC since it expanded.
True.
They've only won a couple of bowl games in the last 12 years. They have not really made much of all these great recruits and players they've had. They haven't really been the U like they were in those years. Because how do you replicate that?
Well, Dwight, it's also like USC right now in the West. We were just talking about it a little bit ago with Gary Hess, and they got Harry Dalton from Dinwiddie. Their schedule's easy enough. They could be 6-0 when they play Ed's Irish. And by the way, it's 1st and goal now, Ed, here as the 8-minute mark, third quarter, just running it down your throat. We'll put the stats back up on the screen here, Ed. Look at this, 259 to 115. They're just bludgeoning you on the ground right now. Look at that, 186 to 54. Where is Jeremiah Love? Can we tap in here? But someone just chimed in here, Maurice saying, not getting better until you get a new AD. And now listen, I don't know if you want to address that, but I will say this, Dwight. And again, I don't want to knock other schools here. I was just talking about this with, gosh, who was our guest, Ed? Help me here. I'm getting old now. I'm getting dementia, forgetting here. It was a guest recently. We just talked about it. It was David Teal. We had one with David Teal. But James
talked about Virginia and Tech, yes.
Oh, well, your TV's like mine, Dwight. I think we're ahead of Ed by a play, but it's about to be a TD at the goal line or maybe 3rd and goal at the 1. But we were talking about it with David Teal that JMU, think of all the coaches JMU has changed. And it's a touchdown, baby, to Canes. Up 21-7, Monty Brown, 5 yards out. What can Brown do for you, Edward? No. We were talking about it with David Teal, Dwight, that JMU's had all these coaching changes from, you go back to the days of Mickey Matthews to Mike Houston won a championship like Matthews. Kurt Signetti at Indiana, and they keep winning. But I go to Maurice DeShazo's little comment there on the X. I think it's their athletic administration. They get it. They changed from FCS, 1AA to 1A to FBS, and having broadcasts up there. And I had an issue getting on the air on New Year's Eve. They were going to make sure by heck or high water I was going to get on the air. And I'm not saying other places don't, but JMU went above and beyond. And sometimes if you want to be at that level, you got to go above and beyond.
So I always tell people, a lot of fans, the ignorant fans get more attention, but a lot of fan bases have intelligent fans. Mm-hmm. So I've been here. I mean, you and I are in these streets you and Ed, when it comes to the rumors, the murmurs, the coaching possibilities. The truth of the matter is that I was there for two great ADs during the prime and the rise of Virginia Tech, and that was Dave Brain, who left Tech and went to Georgia Tech. Then I was there when Jim Weaver came. And when Jim Weaver came, he was the AD, God rest his soul, at Florida and Penn State before coming to Virginia Tech. He came my redshirt junior year. He arrived on campus, and he looked around in 1997. This is after an Orange Bowl appearance and the Sugar Bowl appearance where we won the conference, after a Gator Bowl game where we lost to Carolina when they were fourth in the nation. They smothered us and beat us 42-3. But we were like winning, like big time. He looked around and said, "You guys are not ready to play for a national championship. We got to get better facilities, get more money, but we will." Following year, we go 9-3. We finish the season 18th in the nation, beat Alabama in the inaugural Music City Bowl. I graduate, and then other guys move on. And, of course, this guy I'm very familiar with, close to, named Michael Vick, comes out of his red shirt, and they play for a national championship. And also during that time frame, they built the Merriman Center. The Merriman Center now is a little bit, they've enhanced it, but, there's always building. They're building and building, like everyone does now, right? The truth of the matter is your AD, when you look at high school, college, whatever sport, the AD, especially in high school, the AD and the principal, but your AD on the collegiate level is basically not just the face of the program, but he or she is the individual that makes sure the program has the right schedule, has the right budget, has the right people within the context of your university that can keep the brand going. And you look at some of the games scheduled and I get the criticism. I understand. I know Whit personally. I like Whit. When I see him, we shake hands. I respect him. It's a tough job, but, it's also a what have you done for me lately job. You got Mike Young, who's a great coach, but these programs have to win. And Virginia Tech is a fan base. They're not going to be patient, especially when Pry's been there 4 years and all the money that goes in. And then you also wonder how long the ACC is going to be around. So the truth of the matter is that, you got to make sure, like, you got the right people in place. Like, a lot of people were very surprised that Pry kept two inexperienced coordinators on as long as he did. I mean, you build a staff, whether it's a basketball staff or a football staff, your assistants are essential. Well, you can look at the guys I played for. It's Mike Smith, Hall of Fame coach. Coach Mann, Coach Mitchell, Hall of Fame assistants. Frank Beamer, who I played for, Hall of Fame coach. Bud Foster, Steinspring, who's doing a great job at Roanoke. You look at the assistants. Almation, you know what I'm saying? Like all these guys, Bustle, all these JB Grimes, Mike Gentry, your assistants are the foundation. So I feel like they got great coordinators now, but this is a critical year. So you got to make sure. You look at other schools. Like I feel like, they're our rival, but I pay close attention to UVA. I like Tony Elliott. He's recruiting my nephew really hard, amongst other 14, 5, 15 D1 schools. And but
UVA, you might have a Kedrick Golson situation where he went to Georgia, played in the NFL, and his son's going to Tennessee, and then you never know where the other son's going to go, Caden, huh?
Hey, it might happen. But I mean, you look at these ADs around here, man. Look, I was down there. I think I saw you a few years ago. The last time, not the last time, second to last time, Tech played at OU. I think I ran into you.
Yep.
And that was the game
again, remember the blocked field goal before the half. I was Scott Cash.
Yes.
Scott Cash,
and I remember.
Changed the whole game around. Yeah.
Changed the whole game. My oldest daughter's there. She's a senior. She loves ODU, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I left there impressed because I was like, damn, I told my wife, I said, I told you when you and I were dating, if ODU ever got a football program and I see what they're doing, they're going to blow up. Now, they took a tough loss the other day to Indiana, but
They were in that game, though. They were in that game and competed well. They had a lead early.
Yeah, but now circling back to Virginia Tech. People were upset because, and I said this, you don't schedule a long series and play at ODU if you're trying to recruit the Tidewater area. You don't recruit the Tidewater area by beating ODU because Alabama, not to say we're Alabama, but certain programs, you may play down there a couple of times, but that long series was a bit much because ODU has more to gain and Virginia Tech has more to lose. So it's structuring your schedule and being strategic, because I saw it live and in color after a great win against Florida State. Virginia Tech jumped to 13th in the country and went down there, and I knew it because I'm from there, and they got boat race by 14, 35-21. And it was a nightmare night because the quarterback, the kid Josh, broke his leg. Ryan Willis came in, made things interesting, but it was a signature win for ODU. And I think, if I could speak on behalf of the fan base, I think the last 6 or 7 years since the Fuente and Pry era, Virginia Tech fans are tired of being signature wins for programs that are considered inferior. And that's what makes people pissed, for lack of a better term.
No, it's you hit on a lot of things there. Before we let you run here, Ed's starting to get like that word you just used here. And we might have to censor him. He could be Frank the Tank here when the Mets are losing. He could start throwing like bricks at his TV. That Oakland, you see that Las Vegas or Oakland Raiders thing on the back of his couch there? It's going to be here. It's going to be thrown here in the next 20 minutes because they're facing a critical 3rd and 10 from their own 20 with 7 minutes to go in the third. And right now, the offense is stagnant down there in Coral Gables.
Yeah, I knew with the new quarterback, I thought this could be tough because Miami be all over the place, and they really can't get anything going on the ground, which is what the feeling was they needed to do. And it's because they're not going to let this guy throw the ball all over the place. Being today was his first college passes, so I give Miami credit.
Well, it's still not over, man. You know, in college, sometimes you think the game's over and they make a run, but it's so funny. I love these matchups with Notre Dame and Miami. And let me say this too. I'm probably going to get killed for saying this because of the history of Virginia Tech and Miami. But I've always felt, whether it's baseball, football, basketball, collegiately, when certain programs are good, it's great for the brand of college football and basketball. So Miami and Notre Dame right now, hopefully Notre Dame can make a run, make this thing interesting, because you want a compelling game late into the night. It's great. Like when Miami's really good and Notre Dame are good, it's great for college football. When Florida State's good, it's great. And I think even on a lower tier level with the ACC, when Virginia Tech and Florida State and Miami are good, it's great for the ACC. It's no shock or nothing against Louisville or NC State. But for years when Virginia Tech came into the ACC, they kind of carried the flag while Florida State and Miami were getting it together. And part of the issue with Clemson is they even though they were winning national championships, people viewed the conference as, a weak conference because they weren't challenged. And I think it's like the Peninsula District. Phoebus, I feel like in this second run of 4 straight state championships, people say, well, why does Phoebus not get the credit? Well, because of the district schedule, they haven't been able to play like they played Highland Springs for the first time last year, but Maury and those other schools can play out of state or play other big matchups, where Phoebus, the Peninsula District, has let them down. Now, I will say this. I think my man Porter got Bethel rolling. I think Warwick's going to be tough. And I think Hampton is a definitely contender with Coach Woodrow. So that makes me feel good to know that there's going to be some games that can take me back. And I think right now, with Maury and Phoebus and those teams taking some early season opener losses, people feel like, okay, we can maybe make a run at it, because it's tough to reload and you get everybody's best shot. Now, at the end of the day, some of these teams will still be standing at the end when we get into December, but that's the beauty of it. You never know, right? You never know.
You remember, Dwight, when you played, we'll let you go on this note. When you played, if you took that loss, you were done. Same thing in college football. You took that loss, you were out of the playoff. But Clemson, they can recover from the loss at home to LSU. Texas, they can still be back in it in the SEC. It wasn't an SEC loss, and that's the strongest conference from losing to Ohio State, the Ohio State on the road. And nowadays, if you lose like Oscar Smith or Maury, we had 4 defending state champs lose to out-of-state opponents in Smith, Maury, Liberty Christian in Lynchburg, and Grand Mountain, Southwest Virginia. But the world's crashing down for only 6-7 days. It's what you do after it.
I'm telling you, and I know you're going to discuss it. And I'm a big fan of your show. I've been listening to you guys on 94.1 when I come home or even when I'm up here. I'm a frequent guest. I'm telling you, I know y'all going to talk about it. But pay attention to the overreaction of everybody this week when it's like, oh, I'm telling you, this is the beauty. This is why I think this is the best time of the year, especially when you get to the fall with baseball and MLB playoffs and football. It gets in the swing, and then NBA and then college basketball. This time of the year is great, right? And the great part about it is we don't really know yet, especially with the 12-team playoff. Like the overreaction, like right now, people are texting me, they got to bench Drones and Dabo's lost it. I'm like, God, dude, these are close losses. You know, I mean, everybody's talking about, Alabama's done, Saban, people are eating pizza at 1 o'clock in the morning. Hey, listen, calm down, man. This is even this game right now that we're watching. Miami looks like they're in full control, but I've seen it so many nights. All of a sudden I come back out the bathroom and then the momentum has shifted. Okay. Yeah. But I appreciate you guys.
Dwight, but that's like when he goes in the bathroom, the Yankees are up 5-2. Next thing you know, he gets out of it. They're down 6-5 and he's mad. So maybe he has to go to the bathroom. Take a bathroom break, Ed, because when we come back, and Dwight, it's been awesome having you on. We're going to get you on a Saturday. The former Crabber and Hokie, Dwight Vick, following up Hank Sawyer and Gary Hess. We come back. We got Andy Lynn, the head football coach of the Lafayette Rams, who beat Ed Smithfield Packers. Now, we say Ed Smithfield Packers. People say, is he at Nancy? Still no, he's at Smithfield now, coaching basketball, not football. But we'll talk about Coach Lynn and the Rams and what they have in store. The key matchup coming up in the Bay Rivers against War Hill. We'll get his thoughts on if Ed's Irish can maybe come back in this game. It's all coming your way after this time out here on 757. No. It's Hatfield and Young Football Cast. And one last thing, Dwight, we see a comment from not the real Maurice DeShazo. Thoughts on Hokies having trouble with finding a stud linebacker for 4th year in a row, even though Prize regarded as a linebacker guru. It seems like position groups have been a reoccurring liability for the defense for a while now. We'll give you 1 minute here, Dwight. I won't let you go for hours.
I am surprised by that because, you talk about the guy that just got traded to Green Bay, Micah Parsons. That's a pride guy. And linebacker has always been a position of tech pride. Like we've always had great linebackers from the DB, Vince Halls, Vegas Robinsons. I'm really surprised too. And you have a DB on staff. So that right now is a position that has to be upgraded or at least play better because you can't play at any level, power 4, D2, D3 without linebacker play. So it needs to improve because that's been an issue, especially in games we've lost where people have run right at us. But hey, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, Dwight. Been a pleasure. Dwight Vick, our guest here. Vicktory Life. Follow him on the X at Vick757, and we'll have him on again, I'm sure, soon. Got a timeout to take. Ed's got a bathroom break. Go get some water, rehydrate, and see if they can have a comeback. But we'll talk with Andy Lynn about the Lafayette Rams and more after this quick timeout. You're watching 757. No. It's Hatfield and Young Football Cast on Cova Sports TV, the home of 757 Saturday Sports Talk. That's right. Yeah.